no reason to be stressing. Thank the Lord for all my many blessings. I ain't got no reason to be stressing. Thank the Lord for all my many blessings. I will survive. I will survive. He will provide. He will provide. I will survive. I will survive. He will provide.
Welcome everybody to the first episode of Pain and Purpose, where we talk about everything that all of us has went through. We all went through some type of purpose and pain. So today I have a special guest in the studio by the name of Marcus Cooper. Say hello, Marcus.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right. He owns the iHaul delivery company in Tacoma, Washington. Any moving services, give him a call. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Diddy. I'm doing good.
Okay, awesome. Well, the reason why I'm introducing him today because he has a lot to talk about as far as his pain and purpose, because we want to know what inspired him to start this delivery company, because it's such much needed, because a lot of us have a lot of things that's going on. It's very much needed. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, my name is Marcus Cooper, as Didi said, the co-founder and CEO of iHaul Delivery, soon to be Cooper Sims, Transportation and Logistics. Today is actually my 38th birthday.
Okay.
We are shooting our first episode on my birthday, which is it's a blessing to even be here. I don't even know where to start.
How does it feel to be 38? Do you feel like your age or what?
I don't feel 38 at all. I'm thankful to even be here, to make it to 38. We have a lot of friends and family that didn't make it this far, so I think I'm just getting started.
All right. So, how was your trip to Vegas? We want to know.
Hey, it was low key. It was low key. We still elderly. So We didn't do the youthful movement, but we did the Blue Men show, which was fabulous. Cirque Soleil, which was another really dope show, and we did the Shark Reef in the Mandalay Bay, which was
exciting.
That was probably my favorite thing to do.
All right. Well, all of us is pretty much intrigued by you. By all the things that you've done so far. So, what made you start iHaul? What made you start it? We really want to know what made him want to start moving service.
Yeah, my driving force was my family. Just trying to get out of circumstances. There's a acronym that the United Way uses. It's called ALICE. It's some deep shit.
Okay.
ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, employed, and basically what that is us working class folks that's working day in and day out, paycheck to paycheck, and still barely making ends meet. You know what I mean? So, I as a youth, my mom was a single mom. Shout out to my mom. She's a single mother. Shout out to mom for sure. Seeing her go through what she went through, raising two boys as a young mother. She had me at 16, and then 6 years later had my brother. And just constantly seeing her day to day, just grinding every day, just trying to make ends meet, picking and choosing which bills to pay, to make sure her lights is on. And those sort of things. So I wanted to be in a position where my kids didn't have to work, hurt for anything, or feel the troubles, the trauma that I felt growing up. So only way I knew is to tap into the entrepreneur G.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome, because it does take a village to raise these children these days, because if they don't have of course they are our future, but we really have to prepare them for what's going on next in the future. But that's awesome what you just said, because are you hiring basically for your company?
Not right now. Soon to be. And we'll be looking for some independent contractors.
And, we're going to have a follow-up question when it comes down to understanding who he is, because I've known Marcus for a long time, and every time I see him, he's always doing what he has to do, taking care of his family, do what's necessary for his family. So I automatically admire him for what he does so far. But I do have a question to ask you. If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you do differently? That's the question.
18, so what's that? 20 years ago now? Yeah,
we ain't putting no number on that, honey. So don't start doing all that. Don't be putting up there.
So I mean, just to kind of go back a little bit, 16, I was home. No, 17, I was homeless. So 18, I celebrated my birthday, basically, without a roof over my head for the most part. So, but I mean, to lead up to 18, there was a lot of things that I seen and went through. So I would say my 18-year-old self is to never give up hope. You know what I mean? Maybe listen to your parents a little bit more, but definitely never give up. Never giving up on myself. It's something I like to say I never did, but going back, I would just say never give up. Find your purpose.
Absolutely.
Like, really, find your purpose.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, you mentioned homelessness. I'm sure that was a part of your pain that you really didn't want to, that basically gave you the drive to get up and thrive and move forward. But tell me a little bit about your homelessness. How did that feel overall for you?
Man.
And being so young at that.
Yeah. Empty. You know what I mean? It was, homeless is not always sleeping outside on the street, or just sleeping under a bridge. Some people get it confused. Homelessness is jumping from couch to couch, not having a place where you can lay your head. You know what I mean? Sleep in your car. But that I've always been a person. I've been determined to want to do more. Like one of the spots I used to sleep at in my car was. It was a waterfront spot right on South Bay. So it was just always envisioning more, always wanting more, and seeing myself further than sleeping in a car. But that experience is one that made me see the world in a bigger view than I've already seen before. Like I said, I grew up early. I was a father at 7, pretty much, to my younger brothers. So my life has always been probably 40 steps ahead, but being homeless, not necessarily knowing where you're gonna get your next meal, or I was thankful enough to have friends who allowed me to stay with them for a couple, a year for one, another year for another one. But just there comes a time where you don't want to be a burden, what I mean, to those individuals. So it's never really having a place where you could call your own is an uncomfortable feeling. But my brothers that did bring me in, they really showed me what family is really about. You know what I mean? And, those are my Asian brothers out there. So those are my guys. But just really like a purpose, family, and just never forgetting the small things. I know one of my partners I was living with, it was I believe 6 people in the house already in a 3-bedroom.
Wow. And
then his parents opened their doors for me. So just that whole experience was. It was a lot, but it made me grateful to have family like that would give up their space and time for a little knucklehead.
Absolutely. See, that's inspiring, because he is actually living the sign behind me. He is absolutely unbreakable, because we all go through some type of challenge, but he did not stop. He's relentless, and he created something for himself despite his circumstance. That's his pain, and he created a purpose. What is the most important thing you learned in life?
The most important thing I learned? The most important thing that I've learned in life. You're okay. Most important thing I would say is probably never letting your past determine your future. As I shared before, I've gone through a lot as a youth, but I never let that determine where I was going to go. I just used that pain for that purpose, for my purpose. So just never letting my past, stop me from where I'm going. Even though the tunnel might seem dark, I always knew there was light at the end of that. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that answers the question pretty much spot on. But what was your life before learning it? Everything you've learned so far from your life and what you've done so far, being homeless and being all these different things that you had to go through. What was like before learning everything that you've learned so far about life?
Man, that's a deep question. I'm trying to answer without tearing up. My life was dark, like really, really dark. I grew up in a abusive home, and not myself, seeing my mother being abused by men. So life was extremely dark. Like I said, I grew up a lot faster than most kids probably do. I know a lot of kids from our community grow up fast because they experience childhood trauma. But those adverse effects we don't talk a lot about. As we become adults, especially black men, we try to hinder those things or just put them to the back burner. But what I've seen through my life is it comes out in different facets. Now that I'm married, I have my own children. I see those traits coming out. So, but life before that, man, it was just real dark, real confused, young black boy just trying to navigate, life on his own terms. I understood as I got older that a woman can't raise a man. So when I look back and try to point blame on my mom, it's like she can only do so much. That was my father's responsibility.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, it was trauma. It was a lot of trauma. It was a lot of trauma before I've learned these lessons. So, but every experience was an opportunity to keep moving forward.
Well, I honestly admire you for everything you've done so far and what you'll be building in the next 5, 10, even for the rest of your life. Amen. But what I admire about just overall story is, you didn't become a victim to your circumstance, because a lot of people become victims to their circumstance. But after all that's said and done, how would you want the world to remember you?
Man, a caring, compassionate person that always puts people first. I believe in servant leadership, and to me, what that looks like is being an example of what you want to see. So, when it's all said and done, I just want to be known as a man that always, stuck to his word, empowered his people, and wanted to be the change he wanted to see.
Absolutely. I don't want to ask you so many questions, but I do want you to be kind of comfortable with being in front of the camera. You know what I mean? But it's very, I would call it very uplifting, because what advice would you give to the brothers out there that's trying to get up, to get ahead and start fresh? What would the advice you would give them?
Yeah, example for young men and women, I would say, is find your purpose. Like I said, Nipsey Hussle's quote was, he won't say it's easy, I won't say it's fair, but find your purpose or you're wasting air. And God blessed us all with the ability to be somebody, someone. And if you're not fulfilling those purposes, then what are you here for? You wasting air. So
yes.
Find your purpose or you wasting air.
Yep. Nipsey, rest in peace, brother. You said it best, brother. You said you left your wisdom upon this earth, and we are utilizing that in every word that you say. So rest in peace, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
That man saved my life.
For real. All right. Okay. What is your why? What would be everything that you've been through in your life? Everything from abandonment or whatever you went through. What is your why?
My why?
What is the why? So everything has a purpose, just like pain and purpose, of course. But what is your why to why you continue on?
To leave a legacy for my family, and to carry on that Cooper last name. There's a handful of us with the last name Cooper that are men that I know of.
Yeah.
It's my grandfather, Louis Cooper, myself, Marcus Cooper, and then my uncle, Xavier Cooper. So those are the 3 men that I know that walk this earth that have my last name.
Awesome.
My great grandfather, Louis Cooper Sr., God rest his soul, was an entrepreneur too. So for me, it's leaving that legacy or continuing on that Cooper legacy and making my ancestors proud, and just being the best person I can be. So continuing my legacy for my family.
See, that's important for all of us to leave a legacy for our children, because remember, they are our future. So we don't leave nothing to prepare them for the future. They don't have anything to look forward to. They would just be out here in limbo, basically.
Facts.
But if I had a superpower, that's the topic to the next question. If I had a superpower, I'm just talking about me now. I'm not talking about Marcus. I'm talking about me. It would be to change the world dynamic. Not in a whole, but just overall dynamic of what the world is right now. So there's too many men that's running this country. There's not enough time to let a woman do a little thing right now. Right. But what is your superpower?
I mean, I don't want to steal what you just said, but like really to change the landscape of the world, really, end hate. You know what I mean? Help people that only see color. Not see color.
Yeah.
Maybe see people for their heart. During this pandemic, we had the mask up, and you had to look people in the eye.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't judge a book by its cover. You can tell a lot through people's eyes, man. So really, I would say help people that see color.
Yeah.
See black, see no color or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But,
yes.
Like what you said, really just change the world. End homelessness. Poverty really is my passion. Is ending poverty and abuse. Particularly to women of color.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. But I think a lot of us as individuals, I'm sure that I'm preaching to the choir, but we all go through different traumas and unfortunate things in our life. But the purpose of Pain and Purpose is for you to understand that you have a safe haven when it comes down to understanding that you actually have people that really, you're not alone in the world at all. All of us have some type of trauma, dealt with some type of misfortune, dealt with just anything. And I think we are creating an outlet as far as just to hear other people's problems, of course, and pain, but we created a purpose outside of our pain. But if there any advice you can give anyone, including, the world right now, what would it be?
My advice,
words of encouragement, something of that nature.
Yeah, words of encouragement. I gave you the Nipsey quote. You know what I mean? That's something that if I get a tattoo, I'd tattoo that. Obviously, we go back to the reason why we're here is turning that pain to purpose. I'll just say this: everybody has a voice that should be heard, and because of that, your pain is your purpose. We all have similarities. We all have things that we can relate to, but I just want to give those that feel like they don't have a voice, and make them feel comfortable coming to the table, because you never know what your story can do. If it might save a life, it can inspire someone to tap into something that they didn't know was there. So I found my voice with just speaking on my upbringing, the things I've been through. So yeah.
That's awesome. But I'm gonna leave everyone with the quote that we so passionately believe in. It says, "Finding similarities with other people's helps us live a happy and healthy lives. Your life may seem ordinary to you, but it may seem extraordinary to someone else. Every story shared on this podcast is a chance to make someone else feel less alone." So I wanted to share that with you, and thank you, Marcus, for allowing me to interview you. And stay tuned for our next episode to our Pain and Purpose. We'll see you next time.
Let your voice be heard.
Let your voice be heard, like you said.
I like that. We can run that a couple times.